earlier this week, we hit 445 for a double. Probably could have hit a triple. A little bit of technique. Guys, when you're working with heavier and heavier weight, you're not always gonna do it perfectly. So we fell off a little bit. He's tight in the lower back. It's good though, because we're about to hit a deload anyhow. Deload was scheduled, so we have a relaxed week next week. What we're gonna go into today is some of the stuff that's, like I talked about, the accessory stuff, the less like sexy stuff, the stuff that's behind the scenes that you have to be doing. So we're gonna do dynamic warm up today. We're gonna warm them up, we're gonna stretch them out. We're gonna go a little bit over foam rolling and what you need to do. This is valid for both runners and for people who are training lower body heavy. Okay, we're gonna talk a lot about like QL, we're gonna talk about piriformis, we're gonna talk about hip flexor, glute medius, and just go into like some of the stuff that you need to do that keeps you in the game and keeps you functioning properly. Step into it, watch. Hips back, I want the shin to stay straight, don't bend it. Step, step in. Step, step in. Please, sir. It's not a squat, it's not a knee flexion exercise, so make sure you're pushing that hip back. You're gonna get glute, and you're gonna get adductor, which is in the inside of the thigh. Beautiful. We're just warming them up. This would be like we consider dynamic warm up. This is great for runners before they run. This is great for guys who are training lower body heavy. Okay, great way you can stretch yourself. Keep that other hamstring down, keep your head back. Head back, baby. Head back, baby.
Don't call me baby.
He wants to keep this leg flat in the ground. He's manually stretching his hamstring. He's gonna forcibly stretch it. Again, we're just doing some dynamic warm up stuff today. This is a static stretch, but again, we're taking it easy on him. We're just going over what we need to do so that he's game. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. Key is he's got to keep both of these legs straight, guys. This one and this one as straight as he can. He probably can't. He probably has tight hamstrings. I don't care. He's probably super tight through the hip flexor too. We're going to get into that too. Yeah, he's in pain, right? This is the stuff people aren't doing, guys, okay? Okay, the reality is that what does this have an indication of? It has more to do with his hips than his actual hamstring. That's why he's unable to keep this straight. If I have him head back, palms down, lift one leg up while keeping your leg as straight as possible. See that? You can only get it up to there. All right, let me show you an example. Watch. See? That's an example of hip mobility, right?
Yeah, great. He's like, I'm telling you.
So big reason you get a massage, same reason you foam roll. Brings hydration to the tissue, helps to start open them up. When you're training, those muscles clamp up. When you have something like you have muscle pain or you have muscle tightness, it's because the muscle won't unclamp, right? It's a muscle shortens. So it helps to hydrate that area and open it up. The difference between foam rolling and the difference between a massage is the difference between a shovel and a crane, right? You can just put down, if you've got a really good massage therapist, they can just really put down leverage. They can use elbows, they can use fists. You're just not able to get that kind of torque, that kind of pressure from a foam rolling algorithm. Especially, like guys, if you have something like pec minor, there's no way you can do that with a massage ball. I'm sorry, you're trying to rub up against the wall or trying to rub up against the ground. It's just not gonna happen. Certain places like adductors, you can actually do a pretty good job with a foam roller. Certain spots, but there's no way it compares to a human being's elbow who's sitting over top of you, putting all of their weight into you and pushing down. That's why you're doing a massage. We're gonna go over how to properly foam roll because people don't understand how to do this. First and foremost, I like hard implements, right? This is solid. I suggest you get something very solid to foam roll into. We're gonna start with an adductor stretch, or if it's adductor foam roll, you're basically going to lie on top of a foam roller and do what the most inappropriate thing you could possibly do in a public place, which is just grind into it. So that's exactly the position he wants to take. Thing is, he wants to put pressure into this, and this is what people don't do. They sit here, this is what people do. Come over, see me. Yeah, okay, this is what I'm gonna do tonight. And they just kind of sit there and they go, yo, what's up? Or look at that person, you know? No, you literally need to push yourself against this thing till it physically causes you pain. The studies that we have involve extreme amount of pressure on people or rodents or animals where they use extreme amount of force, and that's what actually opens up the tissue. So when you go in there and you're like, just like, oh yeah, you know, just okay, I'm gonna get this done, and then it's not a ritual, guys. You need to be in there and you need to be a little bit of pain. The good news is the more often you do, the less pain you'll be in the next time. So if you foam roll really intensely for a couple weeks, it's gonna become very light and the tissue is gonna be very much opened up. That's the goal, so that when we deadlift, we don't get hurt. When we jog, we don't get hurt. When we go for a run, we don't get hurt.
The truth.
This is Brian's glutes, right? When we look at a glute, there's glute max. This is the round part back through here, right? There's glute med. That's the inside, the part where you feel like you think it's your hip a lot of times. That's his glute med. That's his glute max, that round part. Up top here, where he's got some marks from cupping, that's his piriformis, right? And in through here, this spot, where there's like that line in your back if you're in shape, that's your QL, okay? These are the parts that we're gonna get into. We're gonna have him foam roll his piriformis. It's just above his glute. It's just above his glute max. We're gonna foam roll that right now. Up higher, there. And that's it. And that's how most people, guys, when they go to do this, are gonna look. They're gonna look in pain. And if you're not in pain, you're probably doing it right, or you don't have tightness there. The goal is to not have tightness there. And then once you don't have tightness, maybe you do it once a week. He should be in pain when he does this. Guys, most people I have put on that foam roll and I show them how to do it, they're in pain when they do it.
Are there people that don't feel pain when they do this?
Because they're not tight there. But it's because they're probably done it enough times they're not tight there. They're doing this weekly. Just be mindful of this. Don't foam roll heavy before, like really, really heavy before you train, okay? Now I know that sounds counterintuitive because a lot of times you have people foam roll before they train, a little bit of it, but if you're getting like after it, I would not get a massage and then go train. I would not really tear it up before you train. Afterwards, fine. Another time, fine. If you feel really sore after a massage or after training or after foam rolling, don't lift it the next day. Leave that muscle group alone. You're gonna be fine to miss a workout, guys, one workout. Like, one workout's fine. But again, day in and day out, how often you should do that? I think for people who are really tight, 3 times a week is a great place to start. Typically, you're gonna know if you've agitated your QL. Say you feel like back pain, but you only feel back pain on one of your sides. That's not your back, right? That's your QL, right? Quadratus lumbric, right? It's your QL. You're gonna have to foam roll it. Runners, you're gonna have to foam roll it. Serious deadlifters, you're gonna have to foam roll it. You're gonna have to work this sucker. Okay, so we went through some dynamic warm-ups, we did some stretching. So this session anyhow would be quad emphasis. We would do reverse lunges and stuff like that. We're just gonna take it super easy. We're gonna do it into a deload and we're gonna get Brian moving.
I feel great though.
Good. Another example of an anti-rotation. How do anti-rotations work? You just basically don't have leverage on the object, right? So if I pull something out here and I have to counterbalance, right? Even the strongest guy in the world, if something's out here, I don't have any leverage on the object. My core, yeah, exactly, Brian's the strongest guy in the world. You have to stabilize it, okay? That's what that exercise is. Do you have to lift heavy weight to gain size? No, but it must be challenging. If something is like a 5 out of 10 and you get done with the set, if I can hold the conversation with somebody while I'm working out, like I'm doing bench press, it's probably not gonna challenge me enough to grow, right? Unless I'm a newbie, I'm a beginner to this, right? When you get advanced, it's gotta be challenging. When you're even intermediate, it has to be challenging. How challenging? Not so challenging that you can't complete the lift, meaning that I'm failing, I'm going to failure. There's actually studies out now, we actually have research that going to failure is not going to help you week over week build muscle. But should it be like a 9 out of 10, should it be an 8 out of 10? Yeah, they should be really challenging sets, guys, and you should be pushing yourself to constantly get stronger. Just up. Okay, let's talk about leg curl, right? Because it says merit. Most people have no clue how to set this up with. Come on over. This is a calf, right? Calf should be set up where your calf is ending. This is Brian's calf, this is where Brian's calf ends. So I want him set up.
Find the calf here.
Find the calf here? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Find it.
Where is it? I don't see.
This is a calf.
So Now we set up the pad where his calf begins, right? The pad ends where his calf begins. Second thing I want him as upright as possible. I want his back really flush with this thing. So he's gonna make sure he's really flat. He is. Now, I put down the seat. It should be hard. He should feel like really stuck. Now, here's the big cue, guys. I'm gonna take a guess where he's at because we haven't done this exercise because today we're doing some accessory stuff. He's taking this, stiff arm this thing away. He's pushing himself away. Why? Because I want his back to be in that pad. It's too light for him. Strong, man, you're strong. Good, go. Guys, when we go through this deload, he's gonna have a week where he does less volume. When we come back in here, we are going to work very hard to actually add volume. I want him to start doing more during the sessions. Guys, does hypertrophy and strength equate, right? So if somebody's muscular, are they necessarily strong? Not necessarily. There are plenty of guys who are very jacked who aren't necessarily strong, and there are guys who aren't jacked who are incredibly strong. Now, general rule of thumb, if somebody's big and they're muscular, they're probably strong guys. And generally, if they're small and they're not muscular, they're probably not. But don't understand that's the rule in itself. There are guys who weigh like 140 pounds who can deadlift 600 pounds, legitimately. I believe his name is Joe Murrow. He has like one of the all-time deadlifts. He's 135 pounds. Guy deadlifts incredible amounts of weight. Same thing is true. We have Olympic lifters who are at body weight who can do triple their body weight in a clean and jerk over their head. Hypertrophy, muscle mass, does not necessarily equate it. Now, if you were that same person and you got more muscular, would you get stronger? Yes. Would you increase absolute strength? Absolutely. He's completely stable. These are perfect renegade rows. This is what he's excellent at. He's got great pelvic stability and he's got great scapular stability. That's why he's got a great upper body. That's why he's able to do the exercises he is. He's very stable at both those points.